Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So the music for Stalingrad is actually pretty good. This track, I'm not which one is it? It's the victory music. It sounds kind of somber, kind of joyous. Kind of makes me think of like maybe a musical. I don't know. I'm trying to feel it out. Okay. I also do want to point out that I have this over here for restream, but it doesn't seem to be tremendously effective, because if I go over here to Twitch, I mean you can see it now, but like you can't see it here. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay $190 just to have a watermark that nobody sees removed. Like, screw that. Screw that. Okay. We're going to go ahead and continue from where we left off. I did play and restart on the Slytherin stream. It was towards the actual end of it, really. I wanted to stream earlier on, but Windows 11 decided to adjust my microphone settings. It has this terrible habit, of like changing from a mic to a speaker. And it's a lot of fun sometimes when you don't notice that. Hey, there, Sarge. Good to have you. Yeah. So I was getting all the weird conversation out first and foremost. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this track. Actually, it's a little bit too joyous, isn't it? Maybe a little bit loud. Do let me know if the audio is too loud. We'll figure that one out as we go. Okay, so take a look at where we left off then. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the zone of controls. We'll take a look at the enemy. So, we're in the first turn here. It's 6 AM, 23rd of July, 1942. We are, and I do have my forces actually deployed as I kind of would have liked them. We do have the, I'm going to keep forgetting it, the 297th Infantry Division. And it's a division I remember. I always feel like I recall the 297th. It just feels like one I've seen many a times before more of the East. Which is obviously going to make sense. But it just feels like one of those divisions you tend to have in at the forefront, it seems. But yeah, take a look at things then. It's going to be pretty tough going for the 297th. I do have the 113th over here to the north. We have a battalion over here then, with a battalion of Panzerjägers. Battalion reconnaissance over here on the bicycles. And then 3 battalions over here. I imagine I could, well actually no, we have 2 battalions of infantry there. So 2 elements of the 261st Infantry Regiment and the 113th Pioneer Battalion there. So I do wonder, yeah, we do have another element over here, man. So, the 113th is pretty spread out. And it does seem that I could do the same over here with the actual, because I do have the 3 regiments over here of another 297th. But I don't know how much of a fan of that I am as of yet. I don't know how much of a fan of that I could say I am. I'd be interested to see how it works in the game here, because these hexes are about 1500 meters. So, it's not a huge amount of room, but it's still spacious, isn't it? Still fairly spacious. If we take a look over here then. So we use intelligence over here then. Electronic warfare, I believe it's known as. Yeah, we have the intel over here then. Yeah, electronic warfare, radio intercept. So we use those. Intelligence estimate over here then. And the electronic warfare direction finding. Hey, didn't that, Arthur? I actually like this one. I know I said that about quite a few games where I've always said to people, you can tell if I actually do genuinely like a game. And you can like games, but you can like games more than others. This one I do enjoy so far. What's this? Oh, still getting used to the UI. I had hoped that I could have actually read the manual, but I haven't. I will though. Eventually. Maybe never. Maybe never. There we are. Yep. So if you take a look over here then, I can actually go ahead and take a look at the actual indoor strength here, just so you guys can get a sense of it. So if we go ahead and take a look at the Panzer Regiment over here, for example. Well, sorry, Panzer Battalion. Hey, Dana, Salty, good to have you. Yeah, so this guy over here then, like every unit has intel strength of at least 1 in its vicinity. The Panthers over here have an intel range of 2. So they're only ever going to have like intel strength of like 1 and 2 hexes. It's not particularly great. Let me find some infantry to show off. The infantry, however, do have an intel strength of 3, but they only have range of 1. So they do have pretty good intelligence within that space. You can see that reflected over here with the green. Over here I do have the SDKFZ 231. And of course we do have some infantry there too. I don't know if the Schutzen actually have it. Yeah, okay, so the Schutzen obviously being motorized infantry, they do have that as well. So you can see this area over here is darker green to reflect that. The SDKFZ 231 Battalion, 16th Panzer Reconnaissance Battalion, you can select it, belong to the 16th Division there. Yeah, you can see it's got intel strength of 4 and range of 3. If I recall, I think from reading the Desert War manual, the intel strength drops off by 1 per hex. So I think at range 3, they may have intel strength of 2, but I'm not too sure there. Oh yeah, you can imagine that, can you, Salty? That would be pretty huge. But we'll see. Yeah, exactly. I still remember when I had to showcase one of East 2 for the first time. I always do find it funny. There's much larger, much more successful channels on YouTube and obviously on Twitch in general. But it always amuses me highly that I always get these like games to showcase. And usually I'm so ill prepared, it's hilarious. But that time it wasn't my fault. I had university classes that day until about 4 o'clock. And I think I was streaming the game maybe about 6, maybe earlier, I can't remember actually. And yeah, I was like, you know what, I could read the manual. I could have about an hour to read this manual, or I could get some food. I was like, you know, I'm gonna get some food. Yeah, Sarge gets around. He gets around. Okay. But no, I mean, this is a cool thing about YouTube and Twitch in general. Like, I've been enjoying watching Strategy Game and Dojo doing really great. And there are others too. I do try to keep tabs on new channels where I can. But yeah, it's really good and good to watch. Nice, very community. It does seem to get better as time goes on, really. Okay. So I do have the Guards Rifle Battalions over here. 84th Guards. I don't know if that tracks too celebratory. Feels a little bit too celebratory. We do have another element of Rifle Battalion. Yeah. Okay. What worries me is the fact that we have the tank brigades over here then. So we're looking at T-34/76 apparently. Which is going to be less than fun to deal with. We do have an AT regiment over here to the north, as well as these actual rifle battalions, which are not too bad. Can manage those well enough. I do have information apparently over the town here. Apparently the town is unoccupied. I don't know how much I truly believe that. But, I mean, it's not exactly great levels of intelligence here. It is possible that we may have missed something. It's entirely possible. Our objectives then, by the way, like we have to secure these 3 objectives over here in the north. And we have the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 down here. We have to essentially breach the defense line over here then, which is going to be a lot of fun. Oh, there's this one here. Unless I did count that one. Maybe I did. I can't remember now. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I think Dojo will have a child first. I know that's inevitably going to come, of course. But I do think that kid's going to be about 2-3 years old before the play game will get started. That's kind of like how I imagine things to go, but we will see. Okay, our readiness has been a little bit diminished over here, but apparently the 103rd Panzer Battalion is not quite... Yeah, 58, which is actually pretty interesting. I will have to double check if you can regain that. I'd imagine you probably could, but we'll have to check that. Unit shock obviously going to be quite important there. Shock will help us out, but what I don't like is that we have the light woods over here. Now this is only light woods, and that's kind of treated as a joke in one of these two. Well, not as a joke. It gives you like +1 defensive value, but it's kind of like a joke as far as it goes, because it doesn't really impact an armor that much. So yeah, thinking about how we want to actually take this then. So I'm aware of the AT regiment here. And we'll go ahead and get the actual drawing tool. Always a good thing to actually have. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, family comes first. So I'm like, yeah, it's gonna come after. I'm not daft. And see highlights. Let's go ahead and use a big boy pen. I'm in the mood for the big boy pen. I'm gonna use purple, my favorite color. Okay, so we have the urban center over here. We have the 1 hex of light woods over here. Here too. I think the towns actually do count as defensive terrain. I'm not too familiar with this one. Let me go ahead and... I love that you can do this. Right, town. Yeah, no shock in battles, no overruns. The defense effect there. Yeah. Also, I'm going to have to get used to stacking limit. It does tell you on the actual map. Sorry, on the actual unit counter, so I just need to remember that. It seems like 9 is about as large as it gets, unless you're in the city and the factory. Which is going to be really interesting. So we have 18 there, so that's double the density of units than we normally would have. That's a lot of moolah. Yeah, so everything is more or less 9. Marsh, no. I mean, we can't exactly drive across the Volga, not yet. Mountains, yeah. Okay. Yeah, bombardment defense, good. Where's open step? Yeah, so you can see over here, open step is 1.25 movement points. They have no defense against bombardment. Yeah, exactly, regal color. Here, yeah. So if I can, I do want to avoid the towns too. It cancels out my shock if I recall there, which is not exactly ideal. So, thinking about really how I want to take this then. Let's go for a... I've got a third motorized over here with this sort of pinky. We'll go to pink then. Oh, let me go ahead and get the actual zone control up over here then. Yeah, okay, there we go. Oh, yeah, that'll do. Okay, so zone of control is weaker along that axis. I do spy... Well, I'm pretty sure it's a rifle battalion here on the road. It is in open steppe, I believe. This over here is, of course, in open steppe, I think. I'll double check anyway. But it's a 80 company. Sorry, 80 regiment. So I don't particularly want to tangle with it using anything other than infantry for the most part. I'd imagine that the actual motorized would be fine against it. I'd imagine they'd be okay. I mean, it depends really. I mean, of course, I could take out the trucks and I could take out SDKFCs if we had the armored Judson. But yeah, we do have the actual Nebelwerfers over here. So what I'm kind of feeling like doing, Ben, is having the Nebelwerfers actually take their shots over here at the anti-tank company. I feel like that should be okay. I'm going to have to double check the range. But yeah, what I'm kind of thinking then is... I mean, I don't know if this is actually empty or not. I'm going to assume it is occupied. I'm going to assume that. But what I'm kind of looking towards doing then is we break through. And well, I do like the highway over here. The highway is super good. Super good. Yeah. I forget what the colour of the Panzer Division to the south is. Let's go with a chaddish grey, dark grey. Yeah, we do have the 2 towns over here. So what I'm considering doing then is having the 130th. Actually, we'll have a blue. So let's say that we have the 130th move down here, both sides of the river essentially. They can deal with the towns, or at least secure the flank. That is. I think really I want to have an envelopment. Having distance would be good, but then I've got to obviously like have my supply lines in check. So taking the town over here would be, well, taking the city. I guess I don't know if it's a town or a city. Large town, maybe small city. But taking control of that would be nice. I could then at least use the highway over here, which would expedite movement. which would be quite good, really. I'm kind of thinking we have a link up somewhere. Like it could be nice to come along like along here. Really, maybe I could have some forces move down the actual highway like so. It does depend though. I don't think I need too many units to do that, but I guess we'll figure that out. That's going to be the general game plan, I suppose you could say. Supplying this game. Let me go ahead and see that here. I forgot the hotkeys. Let me go ahead and remember them. H turns that off. R? I forget what S does. S is... supply status. Supply levels, I should say. Okay. Let me double check that. Oh, okay. So they have additional combat and movement right now. But yeah, if I go ahead and take a look at R, it says in the manual, but essentially units that... like the green hexes indicate where you can have, like, good supply. The yellow is where it's less than good. I forgot what the actual term is. And then you have black, which is bad. That's basically isolated. I don't think there's one beyond that. It could be red, which may indicate starving, but I'm not too sure. It kind of gets... it gets to the point of bad juju there. So essentially using the highway is going to be great. You can see that it makes movement nice and cheap. Nice and cheap. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, so it's considered a town, Ben. Just a large town. I mean, I could focus my efforts towards this end over here, really. Use the highway. Try and secure the actual town. I mean, what do I actually have in the vicinity there to enable something of that nature? Go ahead and turn that off. Right. Let's move them here. So I have myself the 160th Pioneer Battalion. I do have myself a... would that be a battery? No, that'd be a battalion. That's a battalion of Stoke 3F. And we do have a 120th Motorized Infantry Regiment. Okay. Supporting them, we have 32 Nebelwerfers. I'm going to assume the one... yeah, well, there we go, 150mm. Okay. So, if I go ahead and select them. Okay, they don't quite have the range, but I could place them as like a defensive measure. That's kind of annoying that they don't have the range there. Well, it comes in handy either way. But what I'm going to go ahead and do then is we shall... well, we're in attack mode right now. Right. I don't really want to have them engaged like so. It does make you think, really, because we do need to move quickly. The quicker I move, the better our positions could ultimately be. I do have the SDKFC 231 over here. They're very useful. I do also have the 160th Panzer Battalion. Now, the Panzer Battalion does have 4 shock over here, which is great. Yeah, shock shifts the odds of an attack by the shock value, which is a pretty big deal. Like, pretty big deal. So if we take a look over here then. So we have a stacking size of 2 there. We can have 9 and an attack at max, unless it's in a city. So, and they're obviously supported here, so their stats are pretty beefy right now. Breakdown unit. That'll come in handy later on. I may very well go ahead and do that. Change orders. Okay. And I could, yeah, change its headquarters if I wanted to. I kind of wish it gave you a breakdown of what these vehicles were. That'd be kind of nice. Not night capable. That's okay. Right. So they're going to be remarkably effective against this over here. I will suffer zone of control. So I have the machine gun battalion here, as well as 2 battalions of pioneers. 651 and 672. Now, 672 is under another commander. That should be okay. We also do have a Motorschützen. No, is it Kratschützen? I think it might be Kratschützen. Maybe not credit Schutzen, I can't remember. But they're like the, I think it's credit Schutzen on the motorcycles, in fact. We also do have a 92nd Motorized Infantry Regiment there, as well as a Pioneer Battalion 71. So that's a lot of force to work with there. Now, they don't have the ability to bridge rivers. I do have Bruco B Amalgam over here, which is actually pretty cool. They can. I think it shows you over here when they get close to rivers. Yeah, bridging engineers destroy, repair bridges, and build pontoon bridges. Right-click unit and press bridging buttons. Which I'm going to assume will show up when we actually near the river. I mean, there's only 96 men in there, so it's not exactly a unit for fighting, is it? I do have the battalion of 268th over here. They can rather quickly move up there. Yeah, we do have a couple battalions over here of infantry to deal with too. But let's go ahead and get things sorted then, where it's nice and easy. These guys over here do have a movement plus. I think, how much do we have? Now, this game is quite interesting in the way that it works with supply. It's pretty simple in a lot of ways. If I go over here then to supply window, like this is the amount of supply that we have in stockpile right now. Like we have 25 fuel, we have 40 ammunition. We do gain a certain amount per turn. We also do have replacements down here at the bottom, which I'm not entirely sure how to use as of yet, but I will look into that. We'll look into it. I think the HQs actually have a certain amount of replacements already, perhaps? I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to look into that one. But what I'm thinking about doing then is giving them the additional ammunition over here then. And I will do. So you can see they do have a combat plus now. I should have really taken a look at their combat stats beforehand, but I'm not that organized. Okay. So, they're going to go ahead and move. Oh, the thing to know, by the way, is when you actually give them the movement plus, they can use road movement, which is super good. I'm going to have them move down here. I don't want them to actually engage, but they're going to be moving with a move and defend order, which means essentially that unless they run into the enemy that they can overrun themselves, they'll stop, which is a good thing. Keeps them alive. The 150 is just outside of range. Can I still give them orders? No, I can't. So it's either you shoot or you move. Which, not much I can do about that. These guys over here are good contenders for road movement, however. Especially these trucks over here. These they can really haul ass. I don't really need the AT guns here as such. I'm going to leave them here for now, but I will move them shortly enough. The infantry battalion, though, can definitely move. I'd like to control the bridge over here, at least. I mean, I could control that here, I could control that here. I'd like to actually reconstitute the regiment, in all honesty. So I think I'll move that way. These guys are in an interesting position here. That is the second 268. That's the first 268. Where's the other element of the 268? First 268. Second 268. Unless it's just 2 battalions to that one. It could be. It could be under strength, unless I'm just simply missing them. I don't think so. They could be elsewhere. Quite easily so, really. Okay, well. It's a little dangerous, but then again, maybe it's worthwhile to move up in the road movement mode. It depends on how bold these guys are feeling. But I think what I'll go ahead and do then is try and move up into here then in road movement. I do have a reconnaissance battalion there. Hopefully they can make use of that. These guys... Oh, let's see here. So I could have them move in road movement. They're basically moving in column. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is have them move over here. They're going to be closer, but ideally not in danger. Who knows? This artillery regiment over here, though, is well within range. So what I can go ahead and do then is place down a little bit of fire over here. A bombardment. These guys are in... when I can click it. I'm going to go ahead and assume it's open terrain. I can hide the units, in fact. Yeah, that's less important. Dug-in units as well going to be an important thing. How the heck do I turn it off now? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, oh, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and assume it's open stab. That just makes it easy to assume. I could change it to this, really. What would you guys prefer? Would you prefer the native symbols, or would you prefer the actual icons? I think sometimes the native symbols work well. I think other times, sometimes the actual images work well. I'll see what you guys reckon. I guess we'll go for the war game look, really. Oh, we'll see. Oh, you like the actual symbols? Okay. I don't know if it's a silhouette. Silhouette is the adult word, isn't it? Yeah, silhouettes. I don't know if anyway. Still having my man. Right, these guys are pretty close. What I can go ahead and do here. I think at this sort of scale, sometimes it's actually more useful to have these silhouettes. But honestly, I guess we'll see how we go, really. So now I do have the 2 battalions of infantry and battalion of pioneers. Oh, oh. Oh, you mean that one? Yeah, silhouettes and symbols. Either or. Okay. They can go ahead and move on here. If they can make it, that'd be amazing to that point there. I doubt that, but it may be worthwhile trying. There is a consideration here that must be made. It's like, well, if I do that... I mean, I could even potentially bring reconnaissance battalion there, but the other element, the 268, has to arrive. So that's not likely. They're going to at least project zone of control there. I could even potentially take the element of 268, and I think I will, if I'm going to be that aggressive. I think I kind of want to cover my ass in a way. Let's go ahead and move in defend. And I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is just cover my ass over here. I think that's always a good thing to do. Ass covering is a way of life. Let's see, can I move there in the move and defend? I can, so I'm going to go and move and defend. Right. Oh yeah. Look at this. New person. Quite literally. Just made me think of a song though. Okay. So we have supporting artillery over here of another 113th Artillery Regiment. I do have these battles over here. I'm going to go ahead and issue that order there. That's going to be quite bold. I don't expect them to actually achieve that. It's quite a bold objective. But they do have the boosted combat. What I'm going to go ahead and do then is see what I can do for them. We do have the Panzerjäger Battalion over here. The Panzerjäger Battalion is an interesting one. It certainly is going to be quite helpful to deal with the actual T-34s and the like. But for now, they can move down here. Yeah. Exactly. Ah, thanks there, Charmide, for the subscription with Prime. That's pretty cool. I just had to check down on Twitch. It doesn't tell me on Restream, so thanks. I would have missed that otherwise. Maybe one day I'll set up notifications on... nah, I'm not even going to bother. It ain't going to happen, is it? Right, so do you have the artillery over here, then? Do they have the range? I don't think they do. Do they? Maybe we'll check. Maybe we'll check. Now, you don't quite have that range. Shame. I'm going to go ahead and place a defensive bombardment. Well, essentially, it's giving them artillery support there. So what happens then is, if the enemy attacks, they'll have that addition. Well, they'll have the advantage of the artillery to support them, which is good. Okay, see you later there, Salty. Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. It's going to be one that I'd like to play a lot more on the channel. I did ask for permission to stream, and they said yes, so that's cool. Right. Now, see, we do have the actual motorized artillery over here, which is pretty fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and use it as a firebase then. I'm not aware of other elements over here. There is this element over here which I could suppress. But I'm going to go ahead and place a second battalion there. Well, a first battalion technically, we have a regiment there. But we'll have another... although in fairness, it's like, is that sufficient already? Maybe. I think it's worthwhile to spot them if we can. I think what I'm going to go ahead and also do then is, we do have command over here. Palace coordinates. I could give them some air spot, really. Surprise is very handy as it's not affected like by AA, like air units are. But I think I'm going to go ahead and give them some air spot. I do want to make sure they can actually push through here. So I do have some Junker 87s. Now, no, they do have a ground support right in there. These BF-110Es, not exactly too high. I'm going to go ahead and have the BF-110 E2s there run interdiction. Right, I do have some Junker 88s. Now, they do have their own, if I go ahead and click on here. Like, they have their ground support over here. So essentially that shifts the ground... it shifts the odds really 1 over, which is useful. But, yeah, 40 planes there. And it's an interesting thing, really. They can go out there and attack on their own volition, and it may be worthwhile to use them in that manner. But I think I may have them attack the AT unit over here, perhaps. We'll see. I just kind of want to make sure we can actually roll on through here. I'd have liked to maybe put some pressure on here, but I think it's fine. We should be able to clear these guys out, and then ideally push on yet further. If they could actually make it here, that'd be absolutely amazing. But I doubt it. So they can go ahead and support. Which is going to be handy. I mean, they'll launch that attack first and foremost, but we'll see. Maybe it's worthwhile. Yeah, actually, no, maybe it's worthwhile actually retaining them. I could use them more aggressively, but I've got to be quite careful on how I use them. Like, for example, I could use them against the T-34s over here. Let's see. I have a defense of 4. Konnichiwa. How you doing there, Pistol? Good to have you, my man. Yeah, so we have defense of 2 there. So in fairness, they could do that. They're more resilient. Less effective, but more resilient. Yeah, pretty interesting. I could have the air. Or I could even have them support or like protect them like that. I think that's more than sufficient. I mean, well, then again, it's only 2 battalions rather than a regiment, so... What I'm going to go ahead and do then is have Junker 88Ds up there. Right. Well, just get underway. Restarted it just to put into practice what had been learned. Right, do I have them both assigned to this? No, we do. It's going to definitely be overkill, but I want to make sure we have that go ahead. Stukas can support the panzers or the motorized. But I just want to make sure this goes ahead nicely. But what I'm going to go ahead and do then is instead of having that support over here, is have it support elsewhere. I was saying that it could be useful to support. I think I want to make sure my panzers and motorized are properly supported. I want to try and clear these guys out if I can. I'd like to avoid this unit here. I can at least... then again, if I move on the road... I do... yeah, armor attack... It says hex are halved. Armor units in this hex have their defense value halved. Yeah. So really, I'd be better off attacking here into the open steppe. There's no disadvantage. So maybe I'll have the armor attack here and have the motorized attack here. We do have something over here, and I'm not entirely sure what the second unit is. Don't really want to particularly tangle with it, but we'll see. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do then is we'll have some of the artillery bombard here then. Right, so I have some Schützen, some Panzerjägers there, and some Panzer 3H. So, they can go ahead and... Oops. So they can push... Now, I doubt this is going to happen, but I do want to kind of move in that way. Maybe I'm paying too much mind to that. What we'll do then is we'll focus our efforts. Okay. I can't drive on too far without leaving myself open. Just not sure if I can make that now. I know, right? Hey, doing that, Josh. Good to have you back, man. I'm going to move them out in such a way that I can ideally support my flanks. I mean, I could dive in deeper than that. I mean, they're kind of weird movements, aren't they, like that? I don't want to move too far immediately anyway. Don't want to move through the town either. Right, at least I do kind of leave my artillery exposed, which is a wee bit of a scary prospect. So I think what I'll do then... It depends really, doesn't it? I mean, this is the problem, isn't it? Like, you've got to deal with that. And I do have to have my elements moved too. So... I was hoping there's one where it shows you... I guess not. I think maybe there's a way to see it all. Okay, so in theory they're going to have that. They can't move if they fire. But if they move... They can move pretty quickly, but I don't know. I guess it's one of these things of like, well... Can't be as concentrated as such. I'll retain a... Oh, we do have the actual Schutzen over here. This is the armored Schutzen, the mechanized battalion, so they would work really well in combination. So, what happens is if you have another unit in here that isn't, as the kids say on the street, shock equipped, you can suffer. Now, maybe we're being a little bit over it. I think I need to make sure I can crush the enemy in front, at least initially. Chaser. I think something like that, perhaps. They can move to the south end just to cover. I just got to make sure I cover my flanks. You can be aggressive if you can ensure you can support it, I suppose you could say. That's not always entirely possible. Okay, so I do have these elements over here. I think I will go ahead and get them moving now. I don't think they're... Yeah, they're supported. They can't use road movement right now. Let me go ahead and move them like so. Yeah, so they can't move super far like that. I could have them move down here to support in this area. But it depends really. Where do I want to have the actual artillery? I mean, these guys have got a big job ahead of them. I am seeing a lot of infantry out here in clear terrain. Towns too. Here, there is some forest. There is additional artillery over here, and there's artillery, assault guns, tank destroyers. So they have some things to work with really. They also do have ample amounts of artillery there too. So I think probably have it move this way. So Hako 310, which is a brigade over here. Let's go ahead and actually give them movement. There we are. So what I can go ahead and do then is select road movement. And yeah, they can really book it now. I want to make sure that they're in a position to support. And these are big guns. We've got 210mm guns here. Yeah, and 150mm gun too. Let's move up the HQ over here. They'll be well within range there. Okay. These guys are... they have movement plus anyway, so they can move by truck. Well, move by road, I should say. And I do want to go ahead and move by road. I think we want to be quite aggressive. I could put pressure on the actual river crossing over here, really. Again, I'm aware. I'm quite aware that we are dealing with... Well, suspected is about 80 tanks there, but who knows? But then again, it is a pretty good thing to actually put pressure on them here, because if I allow them freedom of movement, then yeah, it could be potentially dangerous. I do have... Where are my objectives? Yeah, my objectives are down here too. We have a city to take down there, which is not going to be too fun. So, kind of thinking that we either go for the approach to this river here. Let me go ahead and get an actual orange, seeing as though they are that kind of orange. It's kind of like a darker. Yeah, maybe a little bit too dark. Yeah, that's about right. So, I'm not going to follow that exact path. Maybe. But let's just go ahead and say that we go for this road over here and this bridge over here. I could also go ahead and try and secure this bridge here too. But there's a big part of me that's like, right, well, we can do that, but maybe I want to go ahead and push up to this bridge here. If I secure that one, I could even send a element down to the south over here to secure Zhukov, which is great because I have a highway there. But I would like to then go ahead and take this bridge. Kind of what I want to go ahead and do then is if we have the division apply pressure to the south, the Panzers bypass over here in the north. I kind of want to leave them in a position where they don't really have like much of a choice, you know? Can either go that way, can either go that way, or that way. But if they go that way, then they potentially collapse in on them, and they potentially give them a hard time. Who knows? The game does allow infantry to have some chance. I mean, we do have a stream over here, which means that the attacker loses shock, the attack value is reduced to 50%, and they have no overrun. So that means that I mean, these guys are in infantry regiments too, and I think I may break down one of these regiments into battalions, perhaps. There are about 2,000 men there. They would be kind of be... How strong is a how much is a battalion? How strong, sorry. 732. Are they all 732? They're 732. They're 527. Maybe it's not including the support elements. I have no idea. I'm going to assume it's not including support elements, but even then, I'd feel like that would be a larger, like a large amount of men missed. So maybe it's including both of them. Just not entirely seeing it. How you doing there, Crane? Not quite yet. We've got a long way to go for that one. But I think we'll go for something like that. Kind of want a regiment to push on that way. 523rd is likely closest to there. Let me go ahead and take 523rd. Break them. Oh, will they break down and return there? Oh, I guess they'll break down and return. Ah! Maybe best to leave them as they are now. Maybe I could have actually broken them down during the actual deployment. That would be nice. That would be nice. Oh well. We live and learn. Yeah, exactly. I do have the path over here, but I cannot guarantee it's empty. I cannot. It would be quite the risk. How would they move with... Yeah, and that's their movement without. So it's quite the risk. I really need movement right now. I don't have any intel coming in for south here at all. Which is a bit of a risk there. I'm going to go for... That's a possibly cautious move. It could still have huge ramifications. This AT needs to move up over here to the north, really. Have it covered the bridge over here, which is the closest point. Now these 80... Yeah, those Panzerjägers there are like truck... Well, they're truck-borne. Yeah, it's only 31 guns. I think I have them move out to about that point there, then at least they can actually move. This game, I mean, this is it. They're both set in the same sort of area, but then this is the thing, isn't it? It's like this game's covering the more tactical level. It's still an operational game, but at a smaller scale. Like, I still have a fair-sized battlefield over here, each hex being 1,500 meters, but it's not quite the same as covering, like, the entirety of, like, you know what I mean, like, European Russia. There's quite a difference there. I mean, this is a... commanding a sector rather than commanding like a theatre or multiple theatres, I suppose you could say. I'm gonna have them move there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the artillery moved over there too. Pioneers will... I'll have them move there. In fact, I'll have them actually shift in such a way that they can support each other too, which would be quite nice. Yeah, they're just different scopes of games, really, aren't they? Oh, I didn't realize I could do that. I'm going to take a risk and have them move as far to the north as they can. Maybe, in fact... Yeah, I think have that support the unit in the south there, perhaps. Okay. Now, you still have some pretty good movement. I'm going to move you up over here to the crossroads if I can. Maybe like that. But I think like that's nice. I just want to try and gain some information. I mean, we do have a division spread out fairly wide here. Maybe too wide. Maybe something like that. Yeah, see, they're going to be outside of range there. Yeah, they can support. That about covers them. Okay. Right. I mean, this is it. It's like, how far can you reasonably push in a few hours? I think I could manage something. I don't like that place because I can't guarantee it's empty. Alright. Yeah, see, an anti-tank unit has offensive shock. When defending, it reduces enemy shock value. That's why these guys are really quite cool. Let me just double check on Twitch. Yeah, still looking good. Okay. I really wish they had a little bit more range. Yeah, see, now artillery unit can attack our enemy units or defend friendly ones. I don't know. They're just not quite in range here, which is the problem. I kind of wish I could have had them set to counter battery fire or even just, I don't know. But this is it, they don't have a target right now. They're truck born, so they can move very quickly. There you go, truck born. We do from software game. Oops. They don't have any shock anyway, so I guess it's not a huge deal. I think I want to secure this position here first and foremost. Like, it's going to take time to learn how aggressive we can be. But I don't feel like I have my flanks actually supported here. So I don't feel like I'm in a really amazing position to where I can just, like, dive super deep. But we'll see. Like, they have great range, which is good. I think I'll focus efforts over this way. Maybe over here. But I kind of want to open up this zone of control here. Well, we'll allocate that shortly afterwards. In fact, what I'm going to go ahead and do here. I have a fair amount of pioneers here. Okay, so I have some bridging engineers there. I think I'm going to go ahead and have them move to the north. But if I could potentially cross near here, that'd be useful. Just want to remove all these anti-tank elements here. Okay. I'm going to concentrate firepower over there. The armor cars over here are a bit of a worry, but not all that much I can do about it. Okay. So it's going to make a bit of a conservative effort over here. I just want to make sure I can secure that area and then push on. Like I don't want to push too deep. I did in the first play. I'd rather make sure I have like a solid footing first because I need to get the infantry in position. At least this Panzer division over here actually has some infantry support to the north and to the south. This one, it kind of is its own support. I mean, granted, it has a lot of effort. Well, it has a lot of assets there, but I don't have everything where I want it yet. Excuse me. Okay. I do have these guys here. I'll go ahead and give these guys additional movement. I kind of get them in place, but I'll do that shortly thereafter. So they're quite nice over here, in fairness. That's sort of concentrated division over here. Was that a regular battalion? Oh, it is a regular combat engineer battalion. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and get them moved down here. I do just have the assets concentrated so I can try and force a crossing point, really. Okay. Where do I want to use air power? I think I'm going to use air power against that unit. I think I want to try and hit this as like fairly hard. Maybe not with the ace yet. They can't be used as of yet. Okay. Now command and logistics on the line. See, that's quite good there to single stack of units that come in handy later. Question is, am I going to need these right now? Maybe not right now. I don't know how often I get that. Unit will be withdrawn turn 5. Someone has a delay. Okay, I'm gonna save the surprise then, because at the end of the day that is gonna be gone after use, I think. It's gone by turn 5, but I don't want to waste it. I want to kind of have it in the back pocket, if that makes sense. Okay, so I guess that's my interdiction. Maybe I want to go ahead and have one of these guys in interdiction. No, that's increased there. In fact, I'm gonna hold one of these back. Yeah, have a little bit more interdiction there. That should ideally help us out. Okay. And we'll go with that either way and see how it works out. Wait for that there. Okay. It is WEGO World War II Stalingrad. So, yeah. Something like that. Okay. Alright, so we have our air attack over here. It looks like we have... Well, apparently no losses there, but I think that maybe because we don't have as much information there as we'd like. It does say that they hold all cost success, okay. But they did have a loss of 3% and 50%. Could have been more, could have been less, who knows. Was it worthwhile? Who knows. Maybe not. I had hoped for more, but I guess we'll see. Oh, okay, that goes in there. Some loss of readiness. Yeah, strength does not recover, which is a big deal. And a good roll. Little AA. Yeah, so no losses on our side over here. Oh, we did have a bombardment too. They do suffer 4% loss and 20% readiness loss, which is a fair amount of loss. We do actually see ourselves under attack over here, which is a fair amount of air power. 14 men lost over here. Okay. Bombardment opens up. Yeah, you can see that is 3 battalions of artillery from the 16th Panzer Division. They open up against an element. Well, a battalion of the 33rd Guard. They lose 4% strength and 18% readiness, which is good. That's going to soften them up. Over here, then, 3 battalions once again of artillery. 4% and 21%, so they lose 29 men and 21% of their readiness. Which is a big deal. Alright. So we have our first actual attack over here, then a moving attack. No losses on our side there, which is great. As you can see, we do have... Looks like we had a low roll there, but we don't suffer any losses of a little bit of readiness loss there. We had the Panzers and the armored Schutzen. Sorry, armored Schutzen. Panzer Schutzen. I guess it would be. I don't know. No, not tank Schutzen. No, I guess it would be tank Schutzen. I don't know. Armored Schutzen anyway. So we had that go pretty well. Odd shift. I suppose I'm not seeing the shock, but I guess the shock's in here. Maybe I'm just not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, shock shift. Yeah, there we go. Units to shock 100%, adjusted shock 4. Maybe it only goes by the maximum amount of shock. Either way. Yeah, they lose another 118 men. They lose a further 31% of their readiness, which is not good for them. Move in there. Units moving in. Yeah, so... Oh, okay. That's interesting. We do encounter enemies there. Not what I had actually hoped for, but it actually was a pretty good result there. So we have no loss to our own strength. We do have a loss of 3% readiness, however. We do encounter a battalion of anti-tank guns, as well as a battalion of infantry. Now, it seems that they failed their order to a draw. Which is a shame, actually, because I kind of would have preferred them to have withdrawn, but they lose 118 men and a gun there. So 40% strength and 36% combat readiness. Alright, infantry moving up there. So our forces have passed through over here, which is good. Oh, Scheiße. Do note that we have a battalion of armor there. We do know elements out here too. Okay, so we see battalion there of rifles. Sorry, regiment of rifles there, since there's a 22nd Rifle Regiment. A company of reconnaissance. Yeah, battalion of anti-tank regiment there. So we have essentially like a division over here. They do have some AA too, a regiment of AA. But we should be able to manage that. We do have a good deal of support. Okay, should have the actual infantry engaging shortly. Oh, have they attacked? No, it's still bombardment. Ah, there we go. So we have our second attack there. Oh, so that looks good. Alas, though, they do actually hold, which is annoying. But we had that go in our favour there. I mean, well, really, ultimately. I mean, we had no losses on our end, just a little bit of readiness. They lose 96% of them. Sorry, 96%, I wish. They lose 96 men. 15% and 26% readiness there. And we do have our SDKFZs over here move through. Now, they should still be supported in theory. And we do have a supply line over here, so that's quite good. Oh, it looks like we just moved in here. It looks like they withdrew, perhaps. So, fairly conservative turn 1 opener. But I think we have it work out fairly safe here. And we didn't really take much in the way of loss, so that's pretty good. I don't think we really took... Did we take any loss? Oh, no, okay. So, yeah, we had no losses. Ooh, there's headquarters over here. It looks like the guards moved. Oh, that's really interesting that they're there. 53rd Guards. Well, 33rd, not 55th. 33rd Guards. Rival headquarters there. Divisional headquarters. So, okay, that's not too bad then. So we actually take no losses to our strength. We do have a little bit of air strength reduction, but not bad. So what we'll go ahead and do then is watch the turn, but I'll just let it play. Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're in a decent position. I mean, we could have been more aggressive perhaps, but I think at the end of the day, I didn't even... well, I mean, this is a fairly conservative plan. The infantry I assumed wasn't going to work, in fairness, which is why I was a little bit more conservative with the actual armor. I did think the armor was going to move a little bit further, but looks like we got caught up. At the end of the day, there is a stacker limit, so you can't have everybody move through the same hex at the same time. You can imagine it causes traffic jams that are slow to resolve. And these guys been over here called zone control issues, really. But this went relatively well. Yeah, so they shifted over there. So these two over here can be dealt with. We do have ample amounts of artillery. I'll go ahead and actually shift to the divisional... maybe I'll shift to the divisional artillery. Depends, really. So it looks like we gained... Oh, these are victory points. Oh, so they gained victory points from holding them, so we need to move quickly, in fairness. Not a shock, really. Ah. Oh, there we go. So we have the factors there. That's cool. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, so the headquarters moved down there. Now, these guys I've got to assume are likely cut off. The good news is that we do have our SDKMCs over here. We can see a battalion moving to the south, but they'll be able to handle that. Did they actually get to Manolin this turn? I think they do. Maybe a little bit further. Yeah, so they make it to Manolin. Do they stop at Manolin? I can't remember. Not that Manolin is a particularly great place for them to be, really. But it's a good place to deny to the enemy, if anything else, really. So a little strung out, but not too much. I mean, it's about 3,000 meters separating us here, so not too far. So we see a regiment, 2 regiments. Okay, so they're defending the south here. But they are in the open. We'll use reconnaissance then and signal intelligence to try and figure out what may be here. But we'll figure that out. Yeah, no, we do have a little bit of signal strength over here now. Well, a little bit of reconnaissance. Actually, is it signal... Intel. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That's a pretty bold move there. Shut up, kill. Okay. Yeah, so they have 3 battalions over here, so effectively a regiment of infantry. One would assume cut off. I mean, that's our zone of control there. That's theirs. So we have a much stronger zone of control here. Yeah, so I've got to assume that they're probably going to be suffering supply issues. Let's see, where's my HQ? Yeah, not that we're doing particularly great, we're on extended support right now. So, because they control the roads there, not especially ideal, so we need to try and resolve that. During return here. We can see it's been 4 hours, we're at 10 AM now. I'm assuming AM. Alright, what we're looking at over here then. So we're aware then of the 427th Rifle Battalion here. AT. We know that they did have a loss of readiness. So that's strength. I can't see the enemies. Or can I? And that's unit quality. Yeah, so I can see there's some poor quality units out here in the north. These guys are fair strength. Well, fair quality. These guys, however, are low quality, which is great. I'm assuming red's bad. I assume so. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see that they are green. I wonder where conscripts are. I mean, my gosh, conscripts should be pretty poor then. These guys then are veterans. Yeah, that makes a difference. Poor quality. I guess the rest are regular quality. Yeah, so that make a difference. They're dug in. They're dug in. Most of them are dug in. I said these guys over here who did shift. Well, I have the artillery over here to play with now, at least. I'm not entirely sure what we're dealing with over there. But I'll constrain artillery here. I could try and move across the bridge there, but do I want to control the town? Yeah, I do gain a strong bonus there. I think we'll try and cross it and engage if we can. They can remain as they are then, I guess. Or even what I could do here then is just push up. Actually, no, I don't even want to do that per se. Just stay as they are for now. The AT can move up over here to the bridge. I'm kind of exposed to the north here, but then again, well, HQ and HQ. I mean, they have bigger problems to deal with. Okay. That one has been diminished, so has this one. I mean, if we can see now, we have these units to work with. So I've got a lot to go with. Well, that really is the fine point, isn't it, really, Vernal? How to keep strategy in mind without getting bogged down in the tactics. Well, as they say, no plan survives contact with the enemy. I think you just need to have a general goal in mind, but you need to really pay attention to what's going on, really, don't you? So, it's a tough one, really. I mean, like, if we take a look at what's actually happened then so far. We'll go ahead and we'll draw the front line then, shall we? I guess that would be like, well, I'm just gonna wait if I don't do it. Kind of reminds me of Steel Division 2 mechanic there. Yeah, I mean, if you could draw a front line across here, then yeah. That may be a little bit wishful. Yeah. So, we've not really pushed too deep here right now. But what I'm going to hope to do here then in the next turn... And these guys are kind of open. I could maybe ignore the town for now. I think I could take the town. I do have pioneers aplenty stacked up there. Might be worthwhile to bypass the town, or at least ignore the town for now, but I think it's probably worthwhile to try and take it, perhaps. If they launch their attack, I may be able to then hit this unit as they retreat and then try and rout them. But, as for goals... I'd like to have something make it towards the town over here. I mean, this is it. It's an interesting thing, because it's like, well, we're moving here in a matter of hours. And it's like, well, is that a good pace of advance? Probably not. But, I think things will pick up, really. Once we do move deep into enemy territory, I mean, we are naturally going to be able to constrain our forces a little bit more. We have the river over here to... I mean, we'll have to contend with that, but as long as I can control and protect my supply lines, it doesn't really much matter. I'm just going to go ahead and get to my objectives. I mean, they're trying to defend, but they don't defend everything either. But yeah, as for other objectives, I'd like to go ahead and move down. I don't know. They're not going to be able to make it there. I'd have to have like a unit every couple hexes just to make sure I can control it. But, essentially, I'd like to aim for a link-up. that may be another couple hours away, perhaps. There's like a fair number of troops that may be in this area. I mean, we've got like a mini pocket going on here. If I could just like consolidate that. But the 297th, is it? No, 297th is just south. They're like 117th or something, I can't remember. 130th, not far off. Yeah, 113th has to deal with this over here. They also have to push up over here too. They're kind of here for consolidation. But the good news is I do have my heavy artillery over here. So they can put some pound in over here. Speaking of that. Go ahead and order an attack. I don't particularly want to have them engage. Yeah, they just have to deal with that. I think at this point, though, what I go ahead and do here is I move the artillery. And I could even move in such a way like that. Now this is where it gets difficult, because I'm like, well, what do I leave behind here? I could leave behind like battalion to cover the flank. But then again, we see armor, and there are other forces of guard that haven't been engaged. So really at this point here, then I just need to make sure I control this bridgehead, the town over here. If I control the town, I have my supply lines open. We can make it work then. They have to deal with the division in the south. Over here, then I was like gaining supply there. They're moving into terrain that doesn't really much matter. I just simply need to move along the road here. So, a winning condition for me this turn is if I can actually have the 16th Panzer extricate itself from the situation and get moving. They need to move. And I think that's entirely possible. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not much in our way here. I think what I'd like to go ahead and do then is maybe have a great old shift in, perhaps. So I could have this Schutzen battalion. Oh, actually, they need to go ahead and attack, so. Yeah. What I'm kind of thinking about doing is they can shift up over here. They can shift up a little bit further then. And kind of what I'm going to go ahead and do, they'll have the Panzerjägers with them too, actually. Armor can continue. But essentially what I want to go ahead and do then is have the motorized infantry cover the flanks. It will leave not a tremendous amount of force to continue, but we do have the Panzers themselves. And they are a tremendous amount of force. The idea is then, once the infantry is done with this, they can take over the duties over here. Or in fairness, I could even just have the infantry to take over that duty and have the entire Panzer division just shift on up. That's entirely possible. And then at the end of the day, I still have the 2nd Panzer Battalion over here of the 16th Panzer Division, supported by the 79th Schutzen Regiment, sorry, Battalion. So that covers that to the south. I mean, odds are looking good there. They're kind of screwed already. They can deal with that. So maybe I just go ahead and move up the entire thing here, really. And I think we do. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then with these guys. Move them there if I can. So I'll leave that covered to the south. Yeah, streaming on YouTube and Twitch, yeah. Using Restream. Pretty handy. It doesn't tell me all the notifications, however. Go ahead and give some archer a spot there. Ah, yes, they need to move. Okay. So, we're going to try and move up on here, really. It may even be wise to leave the armored cars here. Let the headquarters catch up. They were on extended supply last turn. And I think I will do that. I could even, like, separate this out a little bit, but I'd like to try and keep them in certain concentrations. And then what I'll look towards doing is pushing this way, I think, perhaps. We know the major threat's down here. Over here, not so much. Not that we have great awareness of what's here, but I don't think there's a huge amount. Force is a little bit strung out over here, but I think that's just due to the fact that everything was moving quite quickly. Well, moving at the same time. Do have artillery and the like over here. Oh, not quite in range. May as well have them bombard. Pretty hefty bombardment there. Need to go ahead and get the bridge engineers up over here, but things kind of got caught up in the wake of each other. So, bit of a delay there. But that's not too bad. Kind of want to save some of that supply, really. Yeah, it comes straight there. Have that bombardment go ahead then, I guess. I think I'm going to cancel that Nebelwerfer. Just have it move up a little bit. And then at least can engage there. They're going to have a fair amount of firepower coming down on them. I think they have some AA. Yeah. Oh, some artillery over here. That'd be good to take out. Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and leave it here for now. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. 10 a.m. But yeah, so far we haven't suffered any loss of men, per se. We did have some aircraft loss. Well, some strength reduction to our air squadrons. I don't know if they were shot down, maybe, or just damaged. Damage could be likely. Shot down could be likely too. But yeah, fairly conservative so far. Ideally, we can have the actual 16th Panzer Division push on through then. And then I think the next couple hours it would be able to then push on quite deep, assuming the infantry could actually get the job done here. There's a lot of assets moved through here. I just don't want to get the artillery and headquarters tangled up, but we'll see about that. Yeah, we'll see about that. I may have the air power actually utilised here then just to make sure they get through, but we can never be sure. And the enemy over here isn't going to exactly allow us to, you know, do this. But they have issues of their own. I mean, we have forces down here as well. A lot of unknown right now. I could use the actual air power down here too, especially as we're going to go for an attack. So I think an air, I think some air support would be quite nice. Not that I have it all on hand right now. I do have reconnaissance once again though. Yep. We'll take some damage to our formations here, but not doing too bad so far. Okay. There we are. Thanks for watching there, guys. If you have enjoyed this, do go ahead and like and subscribe. That'd be cool. Do bear in mind, if I go ahead and show you here, I need to delete that video. It's the same video. It's currently a copyright claim on the actual video, so I'm not making anything from this. So, not that I should anyway, but you know what I mean. If you guys want to support me, then it'd be much appreciated. You can do that. Patreon. There's Redbubble. You can get yourself a cool looking bug. PayPal. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Until next time. It's been a little wee while since I last streamed. I mean, granted I did it on Thursday. And I will be back Thursday anyway. But, yeah, it's nice to do a stream. I've got an essay to write, and then I've got another essay to write. But, yeah, oh well. Till next time, thanks.